Jefferson County. Is it?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, there's several offices that aren't included, in the study.
For now.
At this point in time, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why is that? Why is that?
Why is it?
Why is one more valuable than the other?
What we did was the Postal Service looked at workload in our post office facilities, and what they did was they looked at our offices don't meet that threshold, at least 2 hours of work. Now that doesn't mean that Karen comes in the morning, at 7 o'clock, works real hard for 2 hours and sits down the rest of the day and does nothing. We're saying if you take all the work we do throughout the day and compress that down, it's less than 2 hours worth of work. At some point in time, we're waiting for customers to come in. We're not really real productive. We're waiting for the customers to come and purchase stamps or whatnot. So if you compress all that down, it'd be less than 2 hours worth of work. So offices that aren't necessarily on the study this time around, maybe the next go around, but that's how the study began. And that's how the offices.
Deal with all of us. And I don't think, are you mechanically doing that? Or are you just not really realizing that each of us, it takes time to write out things to make sure that it's correct, and she helps every one of us individually.
And what they looked at is the workload where we're actually working mail, where we're actually selling stamps. There's a lot of administrative things we may necessarily be doing throughout the day that are administrative functions such as paying bills, answering questions on the phone, those kind of things that if we were to transfer an office, they would just go to the other office. It wouldn't be additional workload necessarily, paying utility bills, ordering supplies, they're going to do those things anyway. So it really looked at the work that's unique to the mail and selling and buying stamps. And that's what they use for their threshold.
What length of time is this study? It covers how long?
It was an entire year.
A year?
Yeah, we use a fiscal year in the post office, which starts October 1st and ends September 30th.
So this thing goes on for a year, in time to find out how much you spent each day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we started this.
Our post office open. Does it mean that we need more boxes? Does it mean that we need to pull more people in? Could you not help us to help ourselves?
Well, the easiest way to answer that is kind of to reverse it and say what brought us here tonight.
Yes.
And what brought us here tonight was decline in customer transactions. So we have less mail volume and less customers coming into our facilities and buying stamps. So if you flip that over, we need more mail volume coming in, and we need to sell more postage over the counter.
Isn't there a mandate from Congress that you cannot close a post office because of low revenue?
Yes. Well,
Then why are we here?
no, let me correct that. Title 39 says you can't close a post office strictly or solely on the grounds that it doesn't make money. But if you recall, I started the conversation tonight talking about the fact that we don't have a workload. What we're looking at is not necessarily if we make money in this office, but whether or not we have at least 2 hours worth of work.
I know a postmaster, and they're going to spend more than 2 hours. I don't care what they're doing. They're going to spend more than 2 hours. You can't have some bean counters telling you how many hours, what's going to take to sell a stamp.
Yeah. All I can tell you is that's a criteria that was used, that's a criteria that they measured it with, and that's what we're going forward with.
But there's several factors. Are they considering the cost that it's going to take each individual to go to town and cover every day and back? The prospect of future businesses here, more people coming in here? Is that all factored into this equation?
We do take into consideration that if we were to close the post office here, it is going to impact our customers. It's not going to be as convenient. We will tell you that your rural carrier can provide just about all the same services that you can get at your post office. They can sell you stamps.
We know when he's going to do that.
Right.
It's a time schedule and.
People work.
Yeah,
we
we
all
all
have to be there when he's done.
Yeah. And if you're not home,
What's it going to be
if you're not home, for example, you want to buy stamps, and you work, and the carrier's, coming by to deliver your mail while you're at work, you can do what we call stamp by mail, where you can place an order, and put the order in the mailbox, the carrier will take that, and he'll go back, he'll fill the order, the next day he'll have your stamps in your mailbox for you. If you're home, or if you're not home, we have a package for you. And the carrier comes to your door. By the way, the carrier will attempt to deliver your packages at your residence. If he has a package or an accountable item, they will attempt it first. If you're not home, then they'll leave a notice in your box saying that we were here today.
Pick them up, get them there within 24 hours?
We sure will. And we'll make the same transportation run we make now. The mail will still go to Lincoln the same way. The driver's going to come into Fairbury instead of Endicott, but he's going to pick up the mail from the carrier in Fairbury. It'll head to Lincoln the same time it does now and be processed.
How do you get the sample to him so he can do that?
If we miss you when the carrier comes, then you would have to go to the Fairbury or another nearby post office to get it in the post office so we can get it on the truck and get it back to Lincoln. But if your carrier's there, he'll pick it up for you. If you're, if you have available when the carrier comes to deliver the mail.
Okay, well then you add time on him and he's running late because if we, and I have a great deal of mail, and I'm asking for a registered letter and postal and this and that, well, he's gonna be late. And he might not reach everyone. So, this is the country. This is rural. We know all about that, sir.
We're gonna add 38 deliveries possibly to the rural carrier.
Wow.
And it will impact him a little bit, yeah. It's not gonna be devastating impact. It's not expanded to the point that he's not gonna be able to complete his rounds. 38 deliveries won't do that. But he will be a little bit later because he's picking up some additional deliveries. And by the way, he'll be compensated for the additional deliveries. We factor that in when we look at the entire cost in the study. Obviously when we look at the study, while we won't close the post office, we'll ask you to change your address. We'll work with you on that. You'll do a change of address. You'll go from a P.O. box number to a 911 address. The county's assigned everybody a street name, street number. You'll use that as your emailing address, and we'll slowly convert all that over into that street address. Your carrier gets a letter 6 months down the road and has the P.O. box on it. We'll get it to you. We'll make sure we get it delivered for you. But you'll convert over to a 911 street address box. There's too much mail there to leave in your box. You'll probably have to come in and pick that up.
How you gonna come pick it up when you're somewhere like Wyoming working?
Well, we may say, how about we'll bring it out to you on Saturday.
I won't be, you're missing the point. I'm a construction worker. When I leave town, sometimes it's 4 months at a time. There's no one there.
Because you're gone for 3 or 4 months.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And we've been gone for longer than that. And if it wasn't for Karen, my God, we'd be in a bind.
Yeah, you can designate somebody to come in, pick up your mail for you.
What do you do with your mail now, though? I mean, if you're gone for 4 months, you just leave it here in the post office?
Actually,
Okay,
some
yeah, you
of
do
it's
a
forward,
temporary
some of
forward, okay, yeah.
And you can do the same thing.
Same thing with the rural carrier.
The postmaster's job is political. The rural mail carrier was political. Now we're a private enterprise and we're not doing as well as when we were political.
Actually, we're quasi-government, but you're right, all these be political appointments are not now. I'll tell you folks what's happened, is mail volume's dropped off. We don't have as many customers using the mail as we did even 5 years ago. In the last 4 years, first class mail volume's dropped 20%. In my area, the area I represent, the mail we distribute every morning down 20% just last year.
Our people are getting older in this area and it's not as easy for them to go away somewhere to get their mail. And
Yeah, and let me stress, you don't have to go to Fairbury to get your mail. We're going to deliver your mail to you. It's coming to your address. So for some of you, it may be more convenient than having to get in the car and drive to the post office. We're going to come, on the street, deliver it in the mailbox for you.
it's not as immediate though.
Yeah, I'll grant you that. It won't be as early in the morning.
And we have fewer people. We serve fewer people now, there's no question about that.
Yeah. And that's part of the dilemma we
But
have.
we're getting older.
I can't go to the box and get my mail. I'd like for the carrier to come to my door and deliver the mail. That's an option for folks that are, have physical hardship. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Faye lives in town. It's hard for her to get out. Her box is across the road.
Yeah.
And she goes down to drives down to the post office, and Karen carries it out to
Yeah.
her.
and somebody messes with her mailbox up there with her mail in it. So that's why she got a box down here. So people wouldn't be messing in her box. She lives in town.
And now she within a quarter mile.
She's right here in town by the house.
Yeah, and the reason we can't come to her door right now is because we have a PO box and she's within a quarter mile. We convert over to a rural box and then she'll be able to apply for that hardship and we'll come up to her door and she'll have a
Oh,
box
and
at the
that's
house.
what she almost needs right now.
Yeah, and we can't do that right now because regulations with being within the quarter mile, we have a PO box customer, we can't do that. But if we were to convert over, close the office, go to rural delivery, that would be an option for her.